Harold Shipman, a name that has become synonymous with betrayal and horror. The name sends chills down your spine, evoking a sense of dread and disbelief. He was a doctor, sworn to heal, to provide care and comfort to those in need, a figure of trust and compassion. Instead, he became a prolific serial killer, a predator hiding in plain sight within the sanctity of the medical profession. Shipman preyed on the vulnerable, the elderly, those who trusted him most. His patients who sought his help became his victims. He is a stark reminder that evil can lurk behind the most unassuming facades. A friendly face can hide the darkest intentions. Shipman's crimes shocked Britain and the world. The sheer scale of his betrayal was almost unimaginable. He betrayed the very essence of his profession, turning the symbol of healing into an instrument of death. The trust between doctor and patient was shattered, leaving a scar on the medical community that would take years to heal. How could a trusted physician commit such horrific acts? What drove him to such depths of depravity? It's a question that continues to haunt us, a mystery that lingers in the minds of those who seek to understand the nature of evil. Shipman's story is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside in the human heart, a darkness that can corrupt even the most trusted individuals. It's a story of betrayal, deceit, and the devastating consequences of unchecked evil. A tale that serves as a cautionary reminder of the fragility of trust. Join me as we delve into the unsettling case of Harold Shipman, the doctor who became a monster. Together we will explore the depths of his crimes and the impact they had on society, seeking to understand how such a trusted figure could fall so far from grace. Harold Frederick Shipman was born in 1946 in Nottingham, England. He was a bright child from a working-class background. Shipman's mother, a dominant figure in his life, instilled in him a strong sense of ambition. Shipman excelled academically and was accepted into medical school. He graduated in 1970 and began his career as a junior doctor. He seemed like a promising young physician, but beneath the surface, darkness lurked. Shipman developed an early addiction to pethidine, a powerful painkiller. This marked the beginning of his descent into deceit and depravity. His addiction would later play a chilling role in his crimes. In 1975, Shipman began working as a general practitioner in Todmorden, Yorkshire. It was here that his killing spree began. He targeted elderly patients, often making house calls. Shipman's method was cold and calculated. He injected his victims with lethal doses of diamorphine, a powerful opioid. He then falsified medical records, making the deaths appear natural. His patients trusted him completely. They had no reason to suspect their friendly doctor would harm them. Shipman, hiding in plain sight, continued his killing spree for years. Shipman's victims were primarily elderly women. They were mothers, grandmothers, friends and neighbors. They were pillars of their communities, their lives cut tragically short. One victim, Kathleen Grundy, was a prominent figure in the community. Her death in 1998 raised suspicions. Shipman had forged her will, making himself the sole beneficiary. This act of greed would prove to be his downfall. As the investigation into Grundy's death unfolded, the true extent of Shipman's crimes began to unravel. The number of victims was staggering. Section 5. Unraveling the Truth, Suspicions and Investigations. Concerns about the high death rate among Shipman's patients had been raised before, but it was Grundy's death that finally triggered a full-scale investigation. The police exhumed her body and toxicology reports revealed lethal levels of diamorphine. The investigation uncovered a pattern of suspicious deaths. Shipman often visited his victims shortly before their deaths. He also had access to diamorphine and a history of forging prescriptions. The evidence was mounting. Section 6. Shipman's trial, justice served. Shipman was arrested in September 1998. His trial began in October 1999 and gripped the nation. He maintained his innocence throughout, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. The prosecution presented a compelling case, detailing Shipman's methods and the shocking number of victims. The jury found him guilty of 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. On January 31, 2000, Shipman was sentenced to 15 consecutive life sentences. The judge described his crimes as wicked, wicked crimes and recommended that he never be released from prison. Section 7. Aftermath and Inquiry, Preventing Future Tragedies. Shipman's conviction sent shockwaves through Britain, shaking the very foundation of trust in the medical profession. How could a doctor, entrusted with the lives of his patients, commit such atrocities? This question haunted the nation and demanded answers. A public inquiry was launched to investigate the case and prevent similar tragedies in the future. The goal was to understand the failures that allowed such a breach of trust. The Shipman Inquiry, led by Dame Janet Smith, was one of the most comprehensive inquiries in British legal history. It spanned several years and involved meticulous examination of evidence. It examined Shipman's crimes, the circumstances that allowed them to occur, and the response of the medical profession. The inquiry delved into the systemic issues that failed to detect and stop Shipman. The inquiry made numerous recommendations for changes in medical practice, including tighter regulations on controlled drugs. These recommendations aimed to close the loopholes that Shipman exploited and improved systems for monitoring patient deaths. Enhanced record-keeping and digital monitoring were suggested to ensure better oversight. The inquiry also highlighted the importance of whistleblowing. It emphasized that a culture of openness and accountability was crucial in preventing future tragedies and urged medical professionals to report any concerns they had about colleagues. Encouraging a proactive approach, the inquiry sought to empower healthcare workers to speak up without fear of retribution. Training programs were recommended to educate doctors and nurses on ethical practices and the importance of vigilance. These programs aimed to foster a culture of integrity and responsibility within the medical community. The government took these recommendations seriously, leading to new legislation and policies designed to safeguard patients and restore public trust in the healthcare system. Public awareness campaigns were also launched to educate citizens about their rights and the importance of reporting any suspicious activities. The collective effort aimed to create a safer environment for all. While the scars of Shipman's actions remain, the steps taken in the aftermath have been crucial in preventing future tragedies and honoring the memory of those who suffered. Section 8, Shipman's motives inside the mind of a killer. The question that continues to haunt us is, why? What drove Harold Shipman to kill so many people? Some experts believe he was a psychopath who derived pleasure from controlling and ending the lives of others. Others speculate that his addiction to pethidine played a role, impairing his judgment and fueling his dark desires. Shipman himself never offered a motive for his crimes. He maintained his innocence until his death, taking his secrets to the grave. The true nature of his motivations remains a chilling mystery. Section 9, Life in Prison and Death, the final chapter. Shipman was imprisoned at Durham Prison, where he remained defiant and unrepentant. He never expressed remorse for his crimes. In 2004, Shipman died by suicide in his cell. He hanged himself, robbing his victims' families of the chance to confront him and seek answers. His death brought little closure to those whose lives he had shattered. The monster who had haunted their lives was gone, but the pain and scars of his crimes remained. His name would forever be synonymous with evil and betrayal. Section 10, Legacy of a Monster, Lasting Impact and Lessons Learned. The story of Harold Shipman is one that continues to haunt the medical community and society at large. Harold Shipman's crimes cast a long shadow over the medical profession. His actions were a betrayal of the trust that patients place in their doctors, a trust that is fundamental to the practice of medicine. His case shook public trust in doctors and highlighted the importance of vigilance and accountability. The public's faith in the healthcare system was deeply shaken, leading to a widespread sense of fear and uncertainty. The Shipman Inquiry led to significant changes in medical practice, making it more difficult for such atrocities to occur again. New protocols and checks were introduced to ensure that doctors could not exploit their positions of power. His story serves as a stark reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. It is a chilling example of how someone in a position of trust can abuse their power for the most sinister purposes. It also underscores the importance of listening to our instincts and speaking out when something feels wrong. The courage to report suspicions can prevent further harm and save lives. Harold Shipman may be gone, but the lessons learned from his horrific crimes continue to shape the way we think about healthcare, trust, and the capacity for evil that resides within the human heart. His legacy is a somber reminder of the need for constant vigilance and the importance of ethical standards in medicine. The changes implemented in the wake of his crimes serve as a testament to the resilience of the medical community and its commitment to protecting patients.